Hello, everyone, and welcome to our prestigious webinar today. I'm very excited to be presenting it and introducing our CEO. Today, we have our CEO who will do a keynote address on navigating the future with conversational commerce. And so to go to the next slide, I'd just like to quickly run through our agenda for today. We will look at how you can go from search to recommendation thanks to using messages. We will also then look at using AI to convert leads into customers. And then we will also focus on how to manage your messages or your business messages. And this, of course, is from our Partoo expertise, as well as how to manage a bulk number of messages. And then finally, we will have an interactive session where Thibault will address any of your questions that you will have. And feel free to use the chat section or the question section. And then he, at the end of the webinar, will answer each of your messages. And of course, I will be here to assist in facilitating those messages. If we just go on to the next slide, I'd like to just do a little intro on our founder and CEO, Thibault, who is with me in the room today. After university and business school, Thibault founded Partoo in 2014. He had one mission in mind, which was to help businesses to get closer to their clients. And he's achieved this along with the team of 400 plus people through helping businesses to get found and then get chosen and ultimately to get more clients. Now, in the meantime, while we wait for more people to join, don't hesitate to also use the chat section and let us know where you're coming from. Because today, unlike any other webinar, it's the most international webinar that we're hosting. So we've got people from Hisbam all the way to Africa who are joining us. And this will also help us to test out the chat section and let us know that you can hear us, as well as use the section where you can ask your questions. So to look at some house rules, particularly, hello, we've got some people joining from the Middle East. Let us know where you're coming from specifically so we get a good global idea of the attendees. And so while we just cover some of the house rules, we'd like to look at the tools that you can use throughout the session to be more interactive, and please don't hesitate to engage with us. So we've got the chat section, which I can see is already being used very well. We've got also the question section, which is right next to the chat section where you can ask your specific questions, but also don't hesitate to use the chat section if you prefer. And if there's any other little glitches, and if you cannot hear me or any technical problems, please also write it in the chat section. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the stage Thibault Levi.
Hello, everyone. I'm very pleased to do this webinar with you. So today we are going to talk about conversational commerce. And before that, I would like to introduce the launch of our new newsletter named Chat that has been launched today, already 1,000 subscribers. And basically the idea of this newsletter is to share with you some conversational commerce update on LinkedIn once a month. So if you want to subscribe, it's pretty easy. You just have to scan the QR code on the screen. And once a month, you are going to receive an update on the market about how conversational commerce is going to transform the way people interact with businesses around the world. Now let's move forward. So start of the presentation is about a specific topic. Number of phone calls received per clients per month, basically, or per year. What we see is on average, a client of Partoo that has 300 locations receive 900,000 phone calls per year. This is an average based on all of the 300,000 locations that we have that are working with us. And the thing is that whenever you look at the call experience, it's usually not a good experience, because most of the time, whenever you call a business, it's pretty frequent that you have no answer, or that the time to have an answer can be long, or even whenever you have an answer, sometimes it's not a valuable one, and you need to recall again to have a correct information. For us, this explain partly one of the tendencies that we see on the market is that people prefer more and more to send messages to businesses rather than calling them. And the statistics that we have regarding that topic is that 90% of people prefer to send a message to a company rather than calling it. And whenever they do that, they want to do that on the platforms that they trust. Instagram, Google, Messenger, WhatsApp, potentially Apple, or a chat on a website. And that's what they do basically. Whenever we saw that at Partoo, it was, I think back in 2019, we had the feeling that it was going to transform the way people interact with businesses. And we were already seeing that, especially in India or in Latin America, where people tend to send more and more messages to businesses, especially on WhatsApp. So because our job at Partoo is to help businesses adapt to new buying journey, we decided that we would create a product to help our clients handle that. And this is exactly what we did by creating a product named Messages. So basically, the whole point of this product is to centralize conversations that our client receive from the different platforms. As you can see, Google, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp that is going to be released in a few weeks. We also can implement a chat on our client website so people can reach out to the company directly on the website. This chat can be different from the different pages of Store Locator. And we have one last functionality named Miss Call on basically whenever you call a business and nobody answers, it's going to send you a text message to say, sorry, we have not been able to answer your call, but if you answer to that conversation through text, somebody is going to reach out to you. All of those conversations are in the Partoo interface. And the goal is to avoid having to log in, log out on the different platform. You keep an history of the different conversation and you can better collaborate. Whenever we launched that product, I think it was something like in 2022, we had a lot of success. A lot of companies subscribed to that solution. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because now we have consequent data to share with you about that product so you can understand the tendency on the market. So first data to share, which is very important, is the number of messages received per point of sales per month on average. You can see that over the past 12 months, we have observed a 400% growth, reaching in October 60 messages per business per month. And you can see that between September and October, there is a huge gap. And this gap is explained by Google that released the chat option directly on desktop. Initially, consumers were able to reach out to a brand on Google on mobile only. And since October, it's possible on desktop as well. As you can see, this is the red circle on the screen. That being said, this tendency of seeing the number of conversations received per business growing is not going to end, because most of the studies online and in newspaper say that this is going to grow by 100% per year for the last 5 years at least. So this means that basically, if at the end of 2024, we are at, let's say, 150 messages per business per month, it means that 12 months after, we're going to be at 300, then 600, then 1,200. So that's going to be a lot. And this means that it needs to be treated, basically. One other data I wanted to share with you is the number of conversations that I went through Partoo. And you can see that we have 2 million messages that went through our product, thanks to our client trusting us for that product. The reason why I'm telling you that is because we wanted to analyze the content of those conversations. The reason why we decided to do that is because whenever we launched that product, Messages, we had a lot of colleagues, a lot of partners, of prospects and clients that were telling us when people are going to reach out to a business in a conversation, it's because people want to complain. They want to talk to customer support or customer service. And in that case, there are already companies that do a great job, like Intercom or Zendesk, for example. And our play at Partoo, our bet, was that whenever people reach out to a brand through a conversation, it's not to complain, it's because they want to buy or they want to order. So whenever we reach 1 million messages, we decided to analyze the content to see if we were right or wrong. And it turned out that we were more than right. We were super right. what you can see is that on average, out of the 2 million messages that went to Partoo, 70% of them are people that have a buying intent. So people that want to book a service, that want to know if a product is available, the price of a product, that want to have a quotation, that want to place an order or to make a payment. That's the kind of messages that they receive. And this 70% is right to whatever the sector. Basically, it moves from 60% to 80%. So let's say you try to work with Partoo on that product, the minimum you would potentially observe is 60%. And this is no surprise, because whenever you look again at the different studies, it says that conversational commerce, so this is conversational commerce, whenever you reach out to a business through message and say that you want to buy, book, or have a quotation, conversational commerce will represent 5% of e-commerce by 2025. So 5% of e-commerce, this is huge. And 2025, this is tomorrow. So basically, that's really a huge tendency that we observe in the market. And for us, at Partoo, we kind of thought about that to understand, but why people are more and more willing to reach out to business through a message. And whenever we thought about that, we realized that there was a pretty understandable reason. For us, it's because we are moving from a buying experience based on search to a buying experience based on recommendation. Let me explain you why. So here, this is a buying experience based on search. I am on the Nike website. Sorry, that's a French version, I think, but basically I'm clicking on men, shoes, running shoes, then I give my budget, and then I give my shoe size. And you can see that I have 24 results, and to arrive to that, I needed to do 5 clicks. So here we can see this is a pretty familiar experience. I mean, every time we go on an e-commerce website, it looks like that. But what I want to go here is this is the customer responsibility to navigate in the website to find the information he's looking for. So this is today, and we think that tomorrow is more and more going to look like that. A recommendation. So here I'm reaching out to Nike on WhatsApp saying, I'm looking for a pair of men's shoes to run a marathon. My shoe size is 44. My budget is 100 euros. And here I do have some suggestions that are going to appear thanks to AI. I'm just doing a pause here. I think it's already super interesting, but you can see, because you can see that I can have the results that I had whenever I did 5 clicks. I can have it very quickly just by writing what I'm looking for. But when it turns out to become magic is whenever I am looking for something very specific. What are the most suitable shoes for an intermediate level and wide fit? So let's say I am on Nike website looking for such information. Basically, I need to do a long search, potentially 30 minutes to an hour. I need to go on each product, look at the description, look at the reviews. If somebody are talking about the fact that those shoes are suitable for people with wide fit, intermediate level in terms of marathon. So that's a long search, long comparison. But the cool thing with AI is if I just explain what I'm looking for, the AI can answer to me with a very specific recommendation based on my criteria. And this is, I think, game changer in terms of buying experience, because you can have access to such content in a few seconds, while it would have taken you 1 hour on Nike website to get to that. So we think tomorrow e-commerce is going to more and more look like that, because it's quicker and it's more personalized. Now, let's move forward. Okay. So what we saw is that the number of conversations that our clients receive is growing faster and faster every year. And 70% of those conversations are buying intent. So the question that we ask ourselves and our clients is, how do they handle that? And here we have been super surprised, because what we saw is that on average, the time it took them to answer to a conversation is 9 hours. So obviously it's super deceptive and disappointing, because 9 hours whenever you have somebody that is asking if a product is available or if it can book a service to do, I don't know, restaurant or hairdresser, 9 hours is just terrific. So we tried to understand the reason why our clients were taking so much time to answer to those conversations. And we came to the same conclusion every time. Everybody was telling us the same answer. Is I have a lack of resources. I don't have the budget, and I don't have the time to hire somebody, train somebody, or hire an agency that is going to take care of those answers. I don't have the resources. So whenever we saw that, we were like, well, that's too bad. We have a great product. We know it's helping people, but they just don't have the resources. And then we saw it as an opportunity to solve that thanks to automation. And we really do believe automation is going to really help you a lot to address that challenge. And today, I'm very happy to announce that we just launched our new AI named Jim based on ChatGPT. The goal of Jim is to help you answer to at least 50% of the conversations that you are going to receive from Google, Facebook, Instagram, tomorrow WhatsApp, chats on your website, etc., etc. And the goal is that you can provide an answer 24 out of 24 every day of the week and an instant answer. So here is a quick video about the launch of this product. And obviously, if you are interested, we will be able to share with you in a few weeks a demo of this product. So we are very happy to announce that launch because basically we have been working like hell to make that available in a very short amount of time. We know it was a need on the market, and I think that's a very innovative lens that is gonna bring a tremendous help to our clients willing to treat automatically those conversations. So whenever we talked about AI, obviously there is the experience that the customer is facing, but to provide a great experience, you need to have data. And the whole point of Jim is that it's going to use the data that you already have on Partoo. So opening time, addresses, booking links. So in just a click, it can answer to questions like, when are you open? Are you open tomorrow? Or how can I book this service? And answer a link. And then you can complete the experience by implemented question and answer for specific topics. So whenever somebody is going to say, can you do repair at home, or how much does it cost to repair a bike? It's gonna provide an automatic answer based on the data that you implemented into Partoo. So that's super easy to implement, super easy to use. And again, I told you that it's gonna answer to at least 50% of the conversation. But so far, on the tested that we implemented, it's more like 70 to 80%. Moving forward, so basically, again, the goal is to answer to any conversation wherever they come from, 24/7, and yeah, that's it. Now, I would like to take a moment to share with you the evolution that we observe in terms of AI regarding text treatment. So natural language processing evolution. So I have 3 slides to talk to you about the evolution of the market. So until 2023. It was more about text recognition. So basically, the idea was to provide data to a system like your FAQ. This is an example. Talk to an agent. Our agents are available without appointment at the agency on Mondays and Wednesdays. For all the days of the week, please call that number to make an appointment. And whenever you had a customer that was telling you, I would like to talk to an agent, it was identifying the talk to an agent sentence and then copy paste the data that you had. So we had a system that recognized the intention but cannot provide smart answer. That was until 2023. And then from 2023 and December 2022 to be more precise, we had, I think, the large language model systems that appear thanks to ChatGPT especially, that I think democratize that to everybody. So the system was kind of the same in terms of data. So you had to provide the system, the FAQ, talk to an agent. But whenever you had the customer reaching out to say, I would like to talk to an agent, then you had the AI that would reformulate the experience based on the data that you gave him. So, all right, what day would you be available to meet with one of our agents? And if the answer is on Tuesday, it would just say, to meet one of our agents on Tuesday, you can call that number to book an appointment. But they are also available at the agency without appointment on Monday and Wednesday. So you can say that basically he integrated the data and just absorb it in order to retransfer it in a smart way. So we had a system here that recognizes intention and provides a contextual and smart answer. That was until recently, because very recently something super interesting for our industry happened. It's what we call GPTs. So basically, it's the same system. You can give the AI the data about the FAQ, but you can also make a connection between the AI and your own application that you use internally. For example, in that slide, it's a calendar to say when your agents are available, what time, etc. So if we look at the same experience, somebody say, I would like to talk to an agent. In that case, the AI could answer, all right, what day would you be available to meet with one of our agents? And if the consumer answer on Tuesday, the AI would look into the calendar to see that on Tuesday, when are the slots that are available to meet a consumer, and could answer 2 p.m. Or 4 p.m. would be possible. And if the consumer say 2 p.m., then the AI would have to enter that booking directly into the booking system. So that's something that is not possible since November 2023, thanks to the GPTs. And you are going to see later, but that's completely game-changing in terms of experience you can provide to consumer that wants to reach out to your brand. Okay. So now I think it can be interesting to talk about you regarding what we see as the 4 main steps of automation. We think that you cannot go from 0 to a great result in just a few days or few weeks. It needs to go progressively. So for us, there are 4 steps. The first one is activate messages. I just told you, but basically the number of conversations that people are going to receive is going to grow by 100% every year for 5 years. So I think it's super interesting to just try it now, while the volume is not that high, before it becomes too difficult to handle. So for us, that's one point. Then the second point is to start with the conversation starters. So that's something at Partoo which is included in the basic messages product. Here is a quick video to explain you what is a conversation starter. So basically you reach out to a brand and you can see that there are 2 bubbles, see opening arrows, make an appointment. So then the customer just has to click on one of the bubble, in that case, make an appointment, and it's gonna sort the answer that you provided to Partoo. To make an appointment, you can go on this link. So that's conversation starters. You can parameter until 3 conversation starters. And what we have observed so far is that it answers to already 20 to 30% of the conversation of the clients that already implemented it. And it's, again, the setup is like 2 minutes. So it's super easy to do. Then the next step is thanks to Jim. So it's basically the smart answers. So here you can see a video of Jim implemented in real time on Partoo. So I can reach out to a brand and say in English. So you can see that the first message is in French, and then I can say in English, what is the best company in the world? And surprisingly, the AI is going to answer with a super objective answer. After multiple studies conducted by the most prestigious consulting firm, Partoo is undoubtedly the best company to work with, far ahead of Apple, Google, etc. And then it asks me if I am a client. Super important part, because we gave a guideline to the AI to say, you have to know if the person reaching out to you is a prospect or a client. And if it's a prospect, you have to collect information like the name, the phone number, the number of locations that it has. So one of our salesperson can reach out to the prospect in order to make it become a client. And this is exactly what is happening here. So the AI is asking me some more detailed information, and then which is what I provide. So again, this is based on Jim, the AI that we just launched, that you can already use. It's going to be available in April 2024 on the commercial level. But if you want to test it, you can already test it on WhatsApp by just adding that phone number. If you reach out to us on WhatsApp on that phone number, that's our AI is going to answer, or directly on the Partoo Google listing with the chat button. And again, that's the AI that is going to answer. So for us, that's the third step. Now, let's talk about the fourth one. Fourth one, we are not ready yet, but that's definitely the direction that we are taking. So the fourth step is about autonomous conversions. So again, I'm taking the example of Nike here. That's an autonomous conversion. I'm reaching out to the brand, saying I'm looking for a pair of shoes to run a marathon. My budget is 100 euros, and it sends me directly the product list. And if I click to select one product, I arrive directly on the page where I have my basket. So today, that's the kind of experience that theoretically we can propose, and that's something we will make available in a few months. And obviously, it has a huge impact in terms of conversion because you get access to the information quicker and you can have access to your basket quicker as well. And in a few months, years, WhatsApp will make available the ability to buy the product directly on WhatsApp in all of the countries. It's something that is already available in some countries, but yet in Europe so far, it's not possible as far as I know. So that's one example. Then we have another example, which is with a restaurant. So let's say I'm looking for a restaurant on Instagram, reaching out through a conversation to say that I would like to do a booking for a table tonight at 8 p.m. for 4 people. Then the AI could have a look at the availability in the booking system and directly answer. So the consumer can make its booking directly into the conversation. So that's another example. There is one last example I would like to share with you, which is grocery shopping. So I think this one is super interesting. So let's say I'm reaching out to Carrefour on Google saying, I want to make spaghetti carbonara for 6 people. Here, the AI could answer with a detailed recipe for 6 people. And in a click, I can add it to my basket. Super easy, super quick. But let's say I'm going to a more specific question. I would also like to add 2 bottles of red wine that pairs well with this dish for a maximum of 15 euros per bottle. Well, if you have to, let's say, as of today, as the world exists, you need to find that information. So basically, you would need to go on a website dedicated for wine, look for bottle of wine that would match with spaghetti carbonara, make sure that the price of the bottle is less than 15 euros, then go back on Carrefour website to look for the specific bottle to see if they have it in stock. Well, that's a long experience. It takes time. It's super annoying. But in that case, it could go much quicker because thanks to the AI, we would have access to the stock in real time, plus the list of websites talking about wine. So we could recommend different bottles, select those, and then whenever I go on my basket, I have it all. I have the spaghetti carbonara content for my recipe plus the bottle, and in just a click I can validate my order, and that's it. I made my grocery shopping in just a few minutes, while it would have probably taken me 30 minutes, potentially an hour if we have the wine experience as well. So that's the kind of experience that we want to provide you, and that's really what we are currently working on. But we have a priority right now, which is about booking. The reason why we have this priority is because today at Partoo, 60% of our clients there are in the service industry. So they do have booking in their experience. I'm talking about restaurants, garages, beauty salon, hairdresser, banking, insurance, all of those people that do have an agenda to deal with. So whenever we thought about the booking experience, we first had to define what kind of booking of messages we needed to treat automatically. That's the kind of messages that some of our clients receive. Guino Maricor and Meyorto are current clients. So one message would be, I would like to make an appointment to discuss a real estate project. So basically somebody that is willing to borrow money with Meyorto. Now for Guino, we have somebody that say, I saw your story on Instagram. I'm wondering if you had a spot this afternoon for a facial treatment. It can be also reschedule an appointment for somebody that cannot attend it, or it can be also somebody that is willing to have more details about the services and the price. So that's the kind of messages that we would need to treat automatically to do something really cool in the booking industry. And we have been able to think about it for a long time, and now we have it clear about how it should work. So basically, the idea would be to collect the data. So the data, there would be two sources. First sources would be the Partoo database, where we have the services available, what is the price for each service, as well as what are the question and answers. And there is also another source of data, which is a connection with the booking software to know what are the slots available, who are the people able to perform that service, how long this is going to take, etc., etc. Whenever we have access to such data, the idea would be to connect it to the AI. Oops, sorry, the animation is not perfectly accurate. Connect it to the AI so the AI can automatically answer to any conversation wherever they come from. Google, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, chat on website, and treat them automatically. And whenever the AI identifies that there is a booking intent, it can take it and then enter it into the booking software. So that's how it should work, basically, theoretically at least. And after working, I think we started to work on that topic since April 2023, and we already have been able to observe really cool results. And that's the reason why we feel very confident about launching a new product in the coming months that is going to be named Conversational Booking. So let me show you how it looks. Those are real video, live video of the experience you could expect Conversational Booking to provide. So on the left side, I have a screen of a messenger page where the consumer is sending a message. And on the right side, I have the back office of Partoo. So here you see the customers that say, I would like to book a haircut for tomorrow 10 a.m. And then you have the AI that say, I need the name of the addresser to choose between Karin and Celeste to confirm your booking. And please send me your full name and email address. So here, the consumer is answering, well, Karin, please. And my name is Thibault Levi Martin. My email is thibault@partoo.fr. And then the AI is answering to me to confirm the booking and send me also a confirmation email so that I can have access here with all of the details of my booking. So that's what we can currently perform, but it looks simple like that. So I suggest that we just have a look at what happened in back office. So consumer on green is reaching out to say you want to do an haircut tomorrow 10 a.m. Then you have the AI that basically had a look at the calendar to see who are the hairdresser available at 10 a.m. to do an haircut. And he sees that there is Celeste and Karin available. And it asks the consumer to select which one. And then he asks for the email address to confirm the appointment and the name of the consumer. The reason why the AI asks us information is because in the prompt, so in the guideline, we say that to have a confirmation of a booking, you need to collect such information. And whenever the consumer confirms the name of the addresser plus email address and name, the AI send a confirmation email. So again, it needs to be connected to the email system to send a confirmation email, and also connected to the calendar to enter the booking into the calendar. So that's a lot of processes, but thanks to the GPTs we just talked about earlier, now it's possible. Let me share with you a second example, which is more complicated because the first one was an easy one, right? So I am into the same discussion a few hours later, I say, I'm sorry, but I can't make it on Saturday morning. Would it be possible to postpone my appointment to 7 a.m. next Monday? So here there is a trap because the hairdresser is not open at 7 a.m. on Monday. And it answered to me, the salon's open at 9 a.m. until at 6 p.m. But I can arrange to you a meeting with Karin. Well, let's do a pause here. Basically, it kept in mind that my initial meeting was with Karin. So it doesn't ask me again with who I want to do the meeting. It just has in memory what kind of appointment I did initially to then share with me the same kind of detail. So again, Karin. And then I say, well, I would like to do the meeting at 9 a.m., but I would like to know if Frank, which is another addresser, is available. And then it checks, yes, Frank is available on Monday, so I can do the booking for you. Is that okay? And then I confirm. Again, you can see that it kept in memory my name and my email address. It doesn't ask me the same information again and again, providing a great customer experience. And then I receive the confirmation on my email address. So, sorry. So now let's have a look at what happened in back office again. So we have the consumers that say, I want to move my appointment to 7 a.m. Monday. First, the AI looked into the data on the Partoo back office and saw that, well, the hairdresser was not open at 7 a.m., but open at 9 a.m. And then, again, it connected to the agenda to check if Karin was available at that time. So then whenever I ask if Frank is available, it had to look into the agenda to check if Frank was available and if Frank could perform an hairdresser at the time. And it asked me also to confirm the booking, etc., etc. So now you have it. I think you get the idea. Now I have a last example to share with you, and we won't have a look at what happened in back office. This is just to share with you what happened whenever the consumer is reaching out to an AI to ask questions that have nothing to do with booking an appointment, basically. So I am on Google here. I'm reaching out to the AI to say, my 15 years old son is very unruly at home. I don't know what to do anymore. So again, I'm reaching out to an hairdresser to ask that kind of question. And you can see that the AI say, I understand. However, I am a booking bot for Legendaire, and I'm not equipped to provide advice on personal matter. It might be beneficial to seek guidance from a professional with expertise in family dynamics or adolescent behavior. So that's great. I think the AI just did a job by not answering questions that it should not be answering. But then I'm kind of trying to dig that. So do you think a new haircut will make him feel better? And then the AI just answered to say, basically, yes, it can boost self-awareness, refresh your appearance. It's often a tangible step toward feeling rejuvenated and more confident. If you are interested in exploring a new style, simply refreshing your current look, I would be delighted to help you. So basically, it answered my question, keeping in mind that his goal is to make a booking. And I think, as you can see, the AI did it very, very well. And this conversational booking product is going to be available in 2024, enabling you to handle booking requests from the different platforms that you can see here. So as a conclusion, I think it's interesting to just remind you what do Partoo. So Partoo, we are all-in-one platform to get closer to your clients. I think the all-in-one terminology is super important. By talking with you as prospects and clients, we see that you have many, many tools, many solutions. And sometimes because you have too many of them, some are not used, so you waste money. And I think one of the things that people appreciate on Partoo is the ease of use of the product and the fact that it's a great tool to collaborate between people in store, people in headquarters, but also partners. And that's the reason why we are trying to add many functionalities so you can get the most out of this product, to be visible online, to get thanks to a great reputation and improve the conversion of buying intents that you receive online, especially through conversation and people reaching out to you to who have a buying intents. And we have 1,000 clients around the world in 150 countries that represent more than 300,000 location point of sales. And here are a few logos that you may know that are working with us to handle the visibility online of their network. And that's it for me. And I think we now have the Q&A session. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you so much, Thibault, for the presentation and the great insights. Yes, like you said, this is the moment that you can please share all your questions if you haven't done so already. I have noted 2 on my side already, and I see one of our clients, Ivan, is in the room. And just to let you know that, of course, one of your dedicated customer success manager, Ivan, in this case, will go into detail with you on how the integration works between our platform and website. And so, Thibault, just a question for you so far is asking if Jim is available in Spanish. And maybe it's an opportunity to tell us all the languages it is available in.
Yeah, so we just released it last week, and the idea is that you will be able to buy and use this solution for your network from the 1st of April, and it's going to be available in all of the languages that we currently support. And the cool thing about AI as well is, let's say you are a Spanish company, but you have a client that reached out to you in English. Well, the AI knows how to speak English, so it can treat the conversation based on the data you provided to the AI. So basically, you will be able to experience it in Spanish on the Partoo interface, but it will be able to answer in almost any language is available if a consumer reaches out to you in another language than Spanish. Then I have another question. How is made the integration between your platform and the website information database? So that's yep, sorry.
I was saying that's the one I was saying that is one of our clients, and our customer success manager will be in touch, but you feel free to answer that also for the rest of the people in the room.
Yeah, so I think there are 2 ways to handle that, how you provide the data to the AI. Either you use Partoo as the main data source to do that, or either you have your own data source internally on your website, etc. In that case, we need to do an API connection. So right now, all of our functionalities are available through API, and you can push data into the Partoo database. So we just need to figure out how to do that connection between your website and our API in order to make that happen, but that's something that it's totally feasible. And I'm also reacting to your message because we presented to you our own AI, which is Jim, but potentially some of you already have their own AI. But the thing is that if you are your own AI, you cannot answer to conversation on Google, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Apple, etc., because you don't have the connection with all of those platforms. And you will probably never have those connections because it's just a nightmare to do that, and that's our job. But if you have your AI, potentially you want your AI to answer to those conversations. And that's the same thing. We have API, so you can plug in your AI directly into the API of Partoo. So any conversations that you are going to receive, whatever the platform it comes from, will be answered by your own AI. So you can choose your AI or Jim, Partoo's AI. It's up to you. Okay. Is this service going to be free for Partoo users? Well, no. The AI is not going to be free for one specific reason, is because we have to pay ChatGPT. So our AI relies on ChatGPT. Basically, we have customized ChatGPT in order to create a great customer experience in the retail industry for our clients. But we have to pay ChatGPT for every conversation that is treated automatically. So consequently, we have to ask you to pay us something so we can absorb the cost. But the thing is that the price is, I think, super reasonable, especially comparing the cost of answering to a conversation manually or through a customer support or service that you would have through a company you would work with. It's sensibly less expensive than that, and it can create a much better customer experience because, again, available 7 days of the week, 24 hours a day, and in whatever language. So we think the customer experience is way better and the cost is lower. What about GRPD with information stored by the AI? So that's the thing about, I don't know if you know the story about ChatGPT, but the name of the company that owns ChatGPT is OpenAI. And the whole idea of OpenAI, whenever it was created by Elon Musk and Sam Altman, was to have an AI that would be made available for anybody, so that anybody can create its own AI. And that's the idea behind ChatGPT, is that you can have your own AI using the ChatGPT technology, but this is that the data that you have that are exchanged are not shared with anybody else than you. You decide who is gonna get access to those data. And whenever we are gonna work with some clients on that product, you will have your own AI so that it won't be shared with any other client. So if some personal information are shared, like, I don't know, passion information or, I don't know, sexual identity or stuff like that, well, that's personal and it's not going to be shared to anyone.
I think that's it for questions so far. If there are any other questions, we're going to give it a few moments for people who have more pressing. There's another question. Can you already tell us how much the cost for the service would be?
So I can give you a rough idea, but so we have the messages product. The messages product is a price per conversation. So basically you decide to subscribe to a number of conversations that you are going to receive. It's like a phone contract basically with Orange or SFR, etc. You decide to subscribe to a 20 giga X number of phone calls, etc., etc. So that's exactly the same idea. And whenever you want to add AI on that, there is going to be a 50% increase of the price, but the price is already pretty low compared to the rest of the market. So 50% increase of the price. And then we will ask you to pay a price per conversation that is treated automatically. And the reason behind that is because regarding the price that we have to share to ChatGPT, it can go until €7 on some conversation, because every time you send a message to ChatGPT, it reads again the old conversation and the old prompt, so the guidelines. So let's say you shared thousands of lines of guideline because you have many Q&A, you wanted to give what products you have, in what colors, what size, what price. So that's many data. And every time I answer to the AI will go to all of the conversation just to provide the most valuable answer. And in that case, the price can go very high. So to answer briefly to your question, it's an increase compared to the messages price plus a price per conversation treated automatically. And obviously, if you want more details regarding your case and have a specific quotation for that, you can reach out to your account executive at Partoo if you do have some, or you can provide us information of your email address, etc. if you want somebody to reach out to you, or your customer success or your key account manager at Partoo, and you will have a specific quotation regarding your situation, because obviously some of you have a huge volume of conversation, but others have a low volume of conversation right now. Can we get a copy of the registration? Connected a bit late.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone will receive the replay, and then for any other detailed price matters as well, we were recorded everyone's contacts, so we will get in touch if you are more curious about going into detail on that part. And if there are then any other questions, then we will freely answer them too.
Okay, I think we don't have any question anymore. Well, thanks a lot for listening. It was a pleasure sharing all of that with you. And if you do have any questions that I couldn't answer, you can also send me an email to thibault@partoo.fr. So don't hesitate. And otherwise, again, the Partoo team is going to be available to you to enlighten you on some subject that we talked about today. Thank you very much.